Happy Father's Day, everybody. It's Jesus, Jude's in June,
And sometimes John. Today, John.
and sometimes John.
You know why John today? Because we're up north at our cottage. And so there's no play structure up here to put together. 'Cause that is not done.
That is not wise, because today's Father's Day. That's
Yeah.
why. And we were kind of talking about it, and we were having a discussion, and it was kind of funny because we started talking about blended families. And we get it a lot. We're a blended family, right?
Yep.
Tell them about it.
You'd never know. If you didn't know, you'd never know. So when John met my kids, which are now our kids, they were like 6, 8, and 9. And we have grandkids that age now. And when we look at how little they are,
Yeah, it's amazing.
we're amazed that John has known the kids that long. So John was a confirmed bachelor, and everybody, his friends, told me, I hope you don't mind staying single because this guy doesn't want to get married. And I said, that's okay. But anyway, it wasn't. And not only did he commit to me, but to 3 children.
You were what? What were you?
A 3 handicapper, that's what we used to get. I feel like I was in heaven and God said, this is the guy you're going to marry. And I was like, oh, please, you got to make it harder. That's a no-brainer. He said, okay, you're going to be single mom. I said, 3 kids. Oh, that's a little harder. No job, no education, and no money. I said, okay, that's enough. So that was the situation we had when we met, right?
That's right. And now I'm starting to rethink it after you just recalled it all now. Now I have to
didn't
rethink
look good
that
on
whole
paper,
thing.
let me just say.
You weren't a strong paper candidate, were you?
No, I was a lot of cons.
Well, we look back and we talked to different people that have blended families and some of the struggles they go through. And we were kind of talking about it, and it's not that we didn't have struggles, we certainly did, but
We didn't have the struggles that most people have.
yeah, that's true. That's true. And so we were kind of talking about it, and some of the things on Father's Day that we thought we'd share with you for a blended family, or any family, truly speaking, is number one, with a blended family, I never referred to those kids as stepkids.
Nope.
They were my kids. When we got married, I was all in. And there's no other way to do it. There's no halfway in. There isn't her kids and then me, or his children and then you.
No.
It doesn't work that way. You either are
Package deal.
right. You either are all in, or you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't get married, because with that covenant, you take everything that comes with it, right? So we never referred to our kids as stepkids, ever. Most of the time I introduced them as my children.
If sometimes John would have these work trips like twice a year, and so we'd have dinners and stuff, and he always put his last name, like he would say that the kids were Mike O'Leary instead of Mike Guess, which was their name. And so we just did everything we could to be a unit.
I wanted them to know that they belong, that they're this. There isn't a separate, there's only us. There isn't us and them.
It's even more than that they belong, that he receives them. Because so many times I've been with people and they say, this is my stepson. Well, right then they're saying, he's not my real son.
Right. I never liked that.
I didn't pick him, I got stuck with him.
I wanted these guys to always know I'm all in. You're mine. You're mine.
Yeah. Early on, well, my kids used to say almost every day, we want you to marry John. Well, CJ said, he has cool hair. I want you to marry him. We didn't have a big list. We were flapping
Not a lot of high
in the
standards.
wind. We were flapping in the wind. The kids knew. In fact, the first Father's Day after we got married, my oldest daughter, she was like 12 at the time, gave John a card, and it had a big Papa Bear with 3 little cubs on his lap. And at the top of the card, Amber wrote, order was restored. How did she know? How did she know at 12? But it was true. We became a family.
So number one, you've got to, if you're going to be a blended family, you've got to be all in.
All in.
Whoever the spouse is that doesn't have the children, you are all in. You've got to be in financially, emotionally. Everything that you've got has got to be all in.
That's right.
I sat the kids down individually at different times as they got older and said, look, when there's a problem, there's only one person you come to, and that's me. If you are in any kind of trouble, serious, mild, whatever it is, you start with me. And somehow we're going to figure it out. You don't have to go to anybody else. You and I will figure this thing out. So I wanted them to know that They don't go anywhere else. They come to me, and the two of us would figure it out and get them out of whatever trouble it was. So that was it. As far as financial goes, we never told our kids, if you want that, why don't you go speak to your father?
One time early on, Amber asked me for something, and we had just gotten married, and I didn't want to scare John away, so I was trying to tiptoe around a lot of things. And I said, why don't you go ask your dad for that next time you see him? And John overheard me, and he pulled me aside, and he said, don't ever do that again. I will take care of us. We're a family. And boy, did that bless me.
You can't say you want to be married to this person and not married to everything about them. So that meant I had a financial stake in it. So that meant putting them through school, dressing them, cars, whatever it was.
No braces.
No braces.
Got off easy,
Got-
but-
right.
right?
That's right.
It was us.
Because it was us.
Yeah, they do have a dad, and when they would go see him, I would never follow him out to the car and give him these tearful goodbyes, and I'm going to miss you, and I'm going to call and check on you. They went out on their own. When he pulled up, I didn't go out and fuss and hover over him. I never called to check on him, and when they came back, he just dropped them off, and they came in. So they never felt like they were put in the middle, like they couldn't be nice to one or the other because the other was watching. And I never asked him anything about his life or what he was up to. Never. You can't use your kids as pawns. Right, honey?
That's right. That's right.
We did some things right. We didn't do everything right.
Well,
but,
we had battles like everybody does.
yeah. But you know what our kids never said, not once? You're not my real dad. You know what they did say? I wish you were my real dad.
We had rules and we had discipline, and I think that we were fair, but kids know that. It couldn't be a free-for-all in our house, so they might not like it, but I think that deep down they respect it, and as time goes on,
I think
So
it
the
made
other-
them feel secure. They knew where the boundaries
So
were.
the other thing that we did was we tried to model honor. And that isn't always easy with teenage kids because
He was better at it.
they don't
Maybe.
they don't understand honor. They don't understand respect. But honor isn't something you get. Honor is something you give. So you always had to treat them with honor because it's who you are. Doesn't matter what they're doing. Doesn't matter that they don't understand it. Sooner or later, if you model it enough, they'll get it. But and I know it's hard with teenage kids, and we weren't always perfect, but we always really tried to model honor, or we tried to act honorably, whether they did or didn't. So that was another big part of it.
And you know what it means? Being all in with the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you know, I think if anything ever did happen to our marriage, my kids would have picked him over me. They adore him. And when Mikey went out with his girl, who is now his wife, he said, if we ever got married, just so you know, our first son is going to be named John O'Leary. And it's not debatable. And sure enough, he had a little boy, and they named him John O'Leary Guess. And I've never heard of a stepson doing that, ever. And it's just a beautiful testament to John being a father.
Well, it's a testament to everybody because it has to all work. But we had a lot of luck along the way. We had problems like everybody else does. We had battles, but it all
They weren't step battles. They were just
Right.
regular battles.
right.
You
right.
know,
Yes.
Right.
There was never a distance. It's never
No.
you're going to go talk to your dad. It's never that. It was always right here. We're going to handle it. At the end of the day, the buck stops here. You're mine. We're going to fight through it. I'm going to help you in every way I can. And
so we were 100% family, and when he was with his dad, they were 100% family. So it worked. It really worked, didn't it, honey?
yeah,
And when John needed a break, like when we were first married, he wasn't used to all the chaos and the activity in the house because he was a bachelor. And he would just go in his bedroom and shut the door sometimes if he needed some time alone. And we respected that. We used to kind of laugh about it because he would get so overwhelmed and he would just go in the bedroom and shut the door. But he never lashed out.
well, it's because there was a chance I might kill somebody. so that was just self-preservation is all that was. But you get to this point in time, and these kids are grown, and now they're giving you grandkids, and you sit here on Father's Day and reflect and say, what an amazing experience it's been. And when I hear people talk about blended families and the difficulties with them, I think it all starts and ends right here with you saying, I'm all in. Think how many times the Father has looked at us and as we've done disrespectful things and turned away from him, he's always been all in. He's
right.
always been all in.
We're all adopted.
Right. And even though we make mistakes, I think we've got to strive for that we're all in
I do
strategy. So anyway,
It models the Father's love, doesn't it?
yeah. So we just wanted to share that with, I'm
it's
sorry.
never the kid's fault what happened between you and your spouse. It's never their fault. They're just innocent victims in the whole thing. And you have to keep that in mind, their tender little hearts. And be good to them. Don't use them as pawns. Don't put them in the middle. And what I was wondering before we go is if you have any questions about blended families, drop them in the comments, and John and I will try our best to answer them.
Because it's not like we didn't make mistakes along the way, but we got
Mostly he did.
but we got good at it. We got better at it and better. And right now, these three adults are the absolute joy of my life. They are wonderful people producing wonderful grandchildren. What a blessing. What a blessing for a Father's Day. So everybody, have a happy Father's Day.
We love you.